So here we are 35 years after Ridley Scott's neo-noir cult classic. New director, new actor. Does it hold up against the original? Some of the elements are still...
Replicants.
Yeah. Some of the elements are still in the story, so we have humans over...
Hey gang, it's time for another Zero to Hero Universe review. We're reviewing Blade Runner 2049, and it feels like it took forever to make this movie.
Some of the elements are still in the story. We got the humans controlling everything. We got the replicants kind of being enslaved by us humans. Replacing Harrison Ford's Rick Deckard from the original is the steamy Ryan Gosling as Kay. We're introduced to Kay right at the beginning of the film, where he, as a Blade Runner working for the LAPD, infiltrates a very small farm area where we're introduced to Sapper Morton, played by Dave Bautista.
And you made an interesting analogy about Dave Bautista. I never thought of this, but you made an excellent point.
I have the feeling that, not box office wise, but I feel like Dave Bautista critically is the most successful wrestler to come out of the WWE, or just successful wrestler just in general. Rock has made a lot of money, sure, but after his two stints with Guardians, he's got more to come, and this film too. He's doing pretty well, Dave Bautista, this guy. So after a really cool tussle in Dave Bautista's Morton's farm, unfortunately, he kind of hits the bucket, this Bautista guy. After...
this Bautista guy.
Kind of kicks the bucket, this Bautista or Morton guy. And after this tussle with Morton, when Kay tries to leave the property, he discovers a tree where underneath this tree, he further discovers the remains of a replicant. Upon returning to his living coordinates after his discovery, Kay shares a very nice implanted memory where he remembers a horse that he had as a child with a date imprinted on the bottom of the horse, presumably the date of his birth. Isn't it?
That's what it was. That's what I got out of it.
The date of his birth? When ordered to return to the farm by Lieutenant Joshi to destroy all the grounds.
That's where the sci-fi adventure begins. A lot of detective work, a lot of adventure. I find this movie also questions, makes you as the viewer question morality of these replicants and how they're getting more advanced and how they have feelings.
This movie was very heavy on the moral compass, like what the viewer feels. It's one of those movies where me personally, I almost felt like exhausted at the end of the film. Like it really, really makes you think, what would you do in this situation? There's a lot of deceiving the viewer, like a lot's going on. Even at the end, I'm not too sure I know who's who.
I think you have to concentrate a lot in this movie. Put a little bit of more concentration into the movie because there's a lot to take in. We also have Jared Leto, who plays Neander Wallace, and he took over Tyrell Corp a lot better than how he portrayed Joker. He was excellent. Really loved him in that role.
Yeah, that's where we kind of differ a little bit. There's a couple of things that I didn't care
He's better than Joker, though, you have to admit, in this role.
I don't care for him at all.
Oh, I'm not a huge fan, but I'm going to give credit where it's due.
I'll say for his character, I don't know, he's only just okay. I think it's kind of enough that Hollywood is giving Jared Leto the right to overact. He overacts way too much in his films, like
in this
too
film
much.
too, or
even in this film. The only movie that I cared for him in was, and this is a couple of minutes he was in the movie, Fight Club. That's like almost 2 decades ago, and that was like nothing. So that's all the patience I have for Jared Leto nowadays. Like he's kind of good in Dallas Buyers Club. I know the Oscar winning and stuff like that, but I just don't buy it too much.
That's fair.
He was too much like Mr. Roboto in this film. I didn't get it. I don't know.
Which brings me to Sylvia Hoeks, who plays Love, who was created a sidekick of Jared Leto's character from Tyrell Corporation. And basically, she is an arch nemesis, and she did a fantastic job. Her mission was sent by Jared Leto's character, Neander Wallace, to stifle Kay's mission and his findings. But don't want to give anything away, but she was fantastic.
She's a very diabolical villain. Yeah, you love to kind of hate her in the film. You
exactly.
have some sort of sympathy toward her in a way at the beginning, with being under the control of Jared Leto's character. The more and more this character involves herself in Kay's story, you kind of start hating her like a real nemesis.
One thing I couldn't get was Jared Leto's eyes. It almost looked like he was blind, but I couldn't tell. I really couldn't tell. So if you guys want to get your opinions on that, I couldn't tell. To me, he looked like he had these not just replicant eyes, but extra special eyes. So there's a lot of people out there talking about, was he blind? Wasn't he blind? If you guys can give us an analogy, that'd be great.
Like a defective replicant or something, but who still owns a Tyrell? Who knows? I don't know. Another folly in this film, I think, is the soundtrack. It was so jarring. I get it with like the impact and the emphasis of a lot of scores and soundtracks, but this one was so loud. I almost like couldn't bear it at points. Like, again, I understand it's what it was. Yeah, stop doing. It's giving me flashbacks. Like, I understand the emphasis and what they're trying to do with the soundtrack and the score, but this one was way over the top. Like, the jump out of the seat thing.
Which leads me to the world itself. I can't believe how it just totally impressed me. It brought back the old Blade Runner world, like the city and that whole thing, the post-apocalyptic futuristic type of world, and it totally blended in that 1982 film, and they totally modernized it perfectly, I thought.
It seemed like a perfect advancement from the Blade Runner 30 years ago. It seemed exactly like Blade Runner 30 years later. It was great how they constructed and everything. Why am I saying in everything? It was great how they constructed everything. What the hell is going on? It was great how they constructed everything and made it very believable, like we are transported 30 years into the future from the original Blade Runner. Again, very well done. I did enjoy that. It did seem 30 years in the future.
I hope if they make a next one, hopefully not another 20, 30 years, but if they do, I wouldn't mind seeing the actual planet colony. That would be great for a change, to emphasize a lot of concentration on that.
Yeah, when we see a new Blade Runner in 2050, real time.
I'm not sure if I'll be here.
Oh, yeah. It would be great to see the colonies and stuff, but that's like way in the future.
I hope I'll be a replicant by then. Change me to a replicant, then I'll be able to see it.
Why?
I'll live longer.
But you know you're not you. See, this is the thing we're talking about.
See, morality.
Stupid movie. I think we got to touch a little bit on Ryan Gosling.
Oh yeah,
Amazing.
the main character.
Yeah.
Amazing, actually. Absolutely amazing.
He really brought you along for the ride. And one of the downfalls for me in the film was the length. It did seem a little too long at points. Maybe
just a little bit, yeah.
Maybe like 20 or 30 minutes. But Ryan Gosling really takes you along for the ride, and you really sympathize with this character. You really want him to find out what's happening in this world. He really drew you in. He was a great draw in this film. I loved his performance.
Yeah, I found that with him, that's where most of my morality debating within myself happened. I put myself in his shoes, and it really just like blew me away. Would I do that? Would I do this? Would I do what he's done?
Yeah, you look at his eyes, really. It's that compelling in a way. Like, you really want this guy to find out what's happening to you, man. What's going on?
What a fantastic Canadian replicant.
Yeah.
Was it better than the first?
That's what I said in the very beginning.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and your eyes switching. We're gonna stop talking about the cast because it's kind of extensive and they're fantastic. Obviously, we know because of the poster Harrison Ford's in it too. But we're just finally gonna mention the director, Denis Villeneuve, another great Canadian. We got Gosling and Villeneuve in this, a Canadian connection. After Sicario and Arrival, well, he does have a great filmography even before that. But this guy is really killing it. Props to that guy for sure. Well done.
That being said, we can talk about this movie for a long, long time. But we're going to leave it there because we don't want to give spoilers either. But obviously, we're going to give this closer to a hero. At least for me, it was a really difficult film to critique because I compared the first one, and but overall, I give it an 8.5, a solid 8.5.
Yeah, again, I'm not saying closer to hero. It's definitely a hero, a great follow-up to the original, a great sequel for the original. If I were to compare it to the original, quality-wise, is it actually better? Because that's a lot of people are asking, is it better than the original? I wouldn't say so. I think it's a great follow-up. It's a great sequel for sure. Not better. If I were to grade the original, oh god, it's up there. It's really good. 9.5 if I were to have to give it a grade. This one, I think I agree with you on this. 8.5.
Oh wow, there you go.
Yeah. If you guys like this review, like and subscribe. Comment below. Tell us what you want to see, what you liked about the film, what you didn't. And your favorite seafood dish.
They're a little more intelligent now, but they're still being enslaved. Being that they're more intelligent, they've got more emotion, and they're starting to figure out, hey, why are we still slaves? You can cut that part.
I like if we just
there.
left it at that. Hey, why are we still slaves, everybody?
What are they, Jewish? They're Jewish replicants. Hey, why are we still slaves, everybody? I didn't do a good Jewish.
So one slave says to the other slave. So one replicant says to the other replicant, why are we still in this mess?